All right, guys, how's it going? This is the first time I've been in a meeting with the three of you by ourselves since coronavirus started. How have you guys been?
Hanging in there, man. Just day at a time. Got my collection of toilet paper and just trying to keep my head down.
Yeah, I was never super worried about the toilet paper, and there's so much here that it would take a disaster for me to run through all my toilet paper.
Yeah, I've been pretty good. Just keep myself busy working on the house right now. So we just got our
Nice.
house, last fall. So during this quarantine time, this is the perfect time to fix it up and paint everything.
Yeah, I think all my
Yeah.
trips outside of the house have been to Home Depot to just pick up stuff.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
been looking for excuses to go drive the car someplace. It's oh, I want to go take a walk in the park over here. Yeah, I guess it's time to break out the Porsche that I have in my driveway right now. So, yep, we're gonna go do that. And then that, just kind of like working on my car too. I have a few cosmetic things, a few mechanical things here and there that I've been tinkering with. So, yeah, trying to keep busy.
I am jealous of both you, Zach, and Byron. Though Zach lately more than Byron, because you've had a 911 and then two different Supras, I think, in the last 2 weeks. Which I haven't gotten any cars since since this whole thing started. Hopefully, knock on wood, we'll get some here in June, and then I can start shooting. But yeah, I'm super jealous of what you've had in your driveway. But I have taken this time to kind of plan out what I want to do once we can go places. I don't know. You guys probably, the reason you're here is because you've done the same. And I just want to hear what you guys have planned for after this whole COVID-19 thing kind of calms down. What are you going to do with your cars and where are you going to go with them? And Byron, let's start with you.
Well, I mean, I'm in a weird spot because I moved to the Detroit area like 6 weeks before all this really started. So I was in the office with a couple of you for, barely a month before they sent us all home. And I would just like to get out and kind of explore the area. I want to, go up north, go to the UP. I want to take a day trip to Canada just because I can, like all these things are just completely locked out. And it really drives home how weird it feels to be in a new place and not know anything about it because I'm really limited in my ability to explore right now. So that's priority number one. And I had all these plans for road trips for the summer that I don't know. I just kind of see them sort of fading away. I was really hoping this was going to be the year I was going to get out to the Pacific Northwest and make a trip up to Canada from there, go to Banff, which has been on my bucket list forever. Just get out, see some big mountains, see some volcanoes, do all that kind of stuff. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that maybe by the end of summer things will loosen up enough. Maybe I can actually get some of that done.
Yeah, Alex and I went to Banff in 2017 from Seattle in a Tacoma TRD Pro and a 98 Tacoma, and took mostly forestry roads there. Got lost a lot, but it was still, it's definitely one of the more memorable trips for me. We only spent 2 days in Banff, which I mean, if you're going to go to Banff, you got to spend more than 2 days there. That was
yeah,
such a tease, especially since the second day was just us packing up and leaving. But yeah, that sounds incredible. Highly, highly recommend going to the Pacific Northwest and then driving up to Banff if you can.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
yeah, you'll love that up there. It is easily one of my favorite places I've ever been.
I kind of feel the same way. I had all these plans for the summer. I moved to Colorado 2 years ago now, and we did some exploring last year, went to Telluride, and we drove all the way to the Grand Canyon, just kind of my wife and I living out of our car for a bit. But this year, one of the last trips I took was to the Chicago Auto Show before all this went down. And the Weekender was unveiled there, the Mercedes-Benz camper van. And I was super stoked to check that out and hopefully drive one around. And I got in my mind this big idea that my wife and I could, if we could get it for a month, do a long-term like month-long Mercedes-Benz weekender review. And I even put together I basically just went on Google Maps and set a radius of like 500 miles and selected every national park within that radius for us to go to. So like, I'll just rattle them off here. It would be ridiculous. It's like roughly a 4,000 mile road trip. First to Great Sand Dunes National Park, then to Black Canyon of the Gunnison, then Mesa Verde, and that's all still in Colorado. Then we go to Moab, of course. Not really going to do any off-roading in a Mercedes weekender van, I don't think.
Okay.
But you got Arches and Zion, Capitol Reef, Bryce Canyon, and then Great Basin. And then from there, I had to do 2 Google Maps links because they only let you do 10 places at once. From up there, drive up to Grand Tetons in Yellowstone, then up to Glacier, where I've been before and was phenomenal. And then over to Theodore Roosevelt National Park in North Dakota. Figured might as well check that. I've been there before. My wife has never been to North Dakota. Pretty unremarkable, but there is a national park there. So check that one off our list. Then Devil's Tower. Oh gosh, now we're getting Badlands. What's this one? I'm getting so granular now. I don't even remember where they were. Oh, Mount Rushmore, Wind Cave National Park, and then back home to Rocky Mountain National Park. So that was like, I don't even know, 18 places. And it's this just giant circle around basically Colorado and Utah are the southern parts. And it goes all the way up to northern Montana, almost to Canada, basically.
How many miles is this again?
I think it's 3,700.
Whoa.
Yeah. So the first part to through Colorado and Utah is 1,300. And this isn't counting driving around in the parks, which would be adding a lot more. And then the rest is 2,400, which when I first started here, I think in the fall of 2013, I drove our long-term Nissan Pathfinder from Detroit to Glacier National Park and back in a week. And that was 4,000 miles. So I know I could do it. I basically just live out of the van for like a month and just find Wi-Fi and try to actually like work normal hours too, mostly normal hours. So that way it's not just like a crazy vacation. But
the way you have that organized is a lot actually how I did a like full cross-country road trip right after I graduated college like 2.5 years ago now. And basically just hit every single national park from Michigan to Seattle to down to LA and then back across the country, within reason. If it was like a 1 or 2 hour drive out of the way, we would go to it. And no, it is like one of the best ways I think you can traverse around this country is to just hit all the beautiful places that you can.
Yeah. I need to hear more about this trip.
Yeah.
How long did this take you?
It was just about a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you drive?
I drove my 2001 Acura Integra GSR, which
wow.
Yeah, pretty weird road trip car for sure. It's certainly no Mercedes weekender as far as easy to live out of. But no, my girlfriend and I camped out of it. Like in every single national park that we stopped in, we camped. We didn't do Airbnbs or hotels or anything.
No way.
Yeah, we had the thing just loaded to the gills. It's a hatchback, so there's a lot of room back there. And it was like, all right, we graduated. We're going to go see everything that we want, on a reasonable budget. We didn't want to fly anywhere. Just wanted to drive the whole way. It was always a dream of mine to drive from like Michigan all the way to the Pacific and then back. So
I'm extremely jealous of this trip. That's something I've wanted to do for a long time.
Yeah, it's really tough to find the time, and that's why we did it right after graduation, where like neither of us have any responsibilities. We just got out there, we didn't accept a job right after graduation that we'd have to go to, and we just did it. So
cool.
That is awesome. Man, that makes my like week in the UP camping after graduation seem so pathetic.
Oh man.
That is incredible.
The UP is
Man.
fun. That's actually where we started. We went straight north up to the UP with Pictured Rock and across to Marquette. Yeah,
Nice.
so
I
much
think
fun.
that segues nicely into Malburg's
Yeah.
plans.
Yeah. So speaking of the UP, that is actually the place where I want to go for my road trip is up to Pictured Rocks. Not a 13,000-mile trip. It's only 412. So a little less than McGraw's round circle around Colorado, Wyoming area. But I've actually never been up to Picture Rocks, and neither has my wife. She's only been to the UP one time. Actually, I think about 2 years ago, we had a road trip going up to Mackinac Island. And so we went up there, and when we were leaving Mackinac Island, we made a point just to cross the Mackinac Bridge just to say that she's finally, been in the UP. And we drove up I think it's the Sunset Highway or something like that. I can't remember the actual name of that, but it was right at golden hour. We found this beach and just kind of sat there with lawn chairs and watched the sunset, and then drove back across the Mackinac Bridge. But with Pictured Rocks, the plan is I would like to go. That's the final destination, but I want to go to Drummond Island first. And actually,
Okay.
that is only accessible through a ferry. So you drive up on the ferry, and then they ferry you over to Drummond Island. And I want to get a cabin up there and just stay there for a couple of days, and then make our way up to Pictured Rocks.
Is that the place where all the wolves get stuck because they like cross over in the winter when there's ice and then the ice melts and then there's just like a bunch of wolves there?
Yeah. Same with a bunch of moose. Is it the plural of that? I don't know.
Moose, yeah.
Moose.
Yeah, moose.
Meese, right? Like goose,
Yeah,
geese,
sure.
moose, meese. Yeah.
Yeah, meese. Yeah, it's beautiful up there, and it's really tiny. I mean, I went up there when I was younger, and I had my motorcycle up there, and you can go back and forth from the island within, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes, if that.
Wow.
Yeah, there's really not much to travel around on that, but it's secluded too. I want to do that in my Focus ST. I actually want to get. I was hoping to have my new exhaust put on. I want to get the Ford Performance Cat black exhaust on that, so it'll sound good while we're driving up there, but it won't be extremely loud.
Ford Performance is good for that. I think you'll get like a nice tone when you're really on it, but hopefully it's still tuned to be nice on the highway. I think that's probably the good way to go.
Yeah, I think so too, because it says it only gets real loud when you hit about $5,000, on the RPMs. But highway speeds, you're not gonna, it's not gonna be droney and be annoying.
And you're not going to scare any moose when you're driving slowly around Drummond Island.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That way you can creep up and see them in their natural habitat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Zach, what do you got planned?
So I actually did a pretty huge road trip right before this whole stay-at-home quarantine thing ended. I drove down to New Orleans in February. So I got a bit of my road trip bug out of me then, but I'm already itching for another one, and it's probably going to be a camping one.
Cool.
The destination for right now will be the Adirondacks in like north central New York. Yeah. So I'm thinking go over there with my girlfriend. We also have a few friends that actually live in that area that we could visit. I actually went to Syracuse University, so I know lots of people in that central New York area. But yeah, no, most likely, I mean, I think the best choice for that right now would be our long-term Subaru Forester, actually. But
okay.
There's some really great roads up there that also are tempting me to want to take our long-term Volvo S60. That would be fun. There's definitely not as much room for the camping gear, but I've already proved that you don't necessarily need a huge car to go camping for long distances.
Right.
I did in my Integra.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No kidding.
Yeah.
Do it in the Integra. You'd be fine in anything. Plus those seats in the Volvo do lean back quite a bit.
Yeah.
So you could possibly sleep in those, depending on how easy you sleep.
We would probably do tents. That is we do that. And I mean, so I drove up there once before. And there's a ton of hiking trails, a ton of places to pull off and just hang out at. It's really beautiful scenery, and I think that we would probably just spend a lot of time exploring nature. It's the whole social distancing thing. We would probably sort of continue that. Whenever we're able to go vacationing again. So it seems like the right kind of vacation and road trip for the times that we're in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think anything's going to get, like, things will definitely normalize, but it's not going to be normal anytime soon. So anywhere that you can kind of get out and away from people, though I like getting out and away from people in general.
Yeah. Yep.
So anytime that could happen, definitely a bonus.
That's good. Yeah. Speaking of small cars, when we did our road trip to Mackinac Island, that was in my old Fiesta.
Ooh.
A 2014 Fiesta. It was a manual too, so that made it. It did make it fun, but it was loaded. And actually, I think I had your bike rack in the back of that.
That's
McGraw.
right.
Let me borrow that. On the highway, just to keep up with the speeds, I had to leave it in like fourth gear.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh
I think
man.
Man.
Yeah,
That's how
my
I
gas
felt
mileage dropped.
with the Integra, like going up the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, and oh my God, no torque.
Yep.
Yeah,
Third and fourth gear.
I have a cross track out here, and it's like the other day I drove into the mountains to pick up a Subaru Outback that my buddy is borrowing from a friend, and it was like, I don't know, like an hour and a half drive, and you have to go through the Eisenhower Tunnel, which is around 11 or 12,000 feet. And man, that cross track is just like, I'm in the right lane at 50 miles an hour, just like chugging along. Because there was one time I tried to keep it at like 75. And by the time I got to the tunnel, it was just like, nope, that's not happening. I had to pull over and wait for it to cool down. So yeah, I feel the pain there.
Yep.
All right. Well, if you're watching this video on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe, hit like. That'll help us make more videos just like this. Hopefully we can get out into some cars here soon and make some videos in some cars. Fingers crossed there. Also, yeah, hit subscribe, ring that bell. And thanks for watching. Tell us in the comments where you're planning on going on your road trip once everything is all back to normal. Thanks for watching.